Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my new video where I'm going to go over 5 tips that I think really help you climb when you are looking to play Dr. Mundo. If you're new to my channel, my name is LowFit. I do educational content. I peaked at Diamond 2 promos. I'm a mostly mid-top and support player, and I think Mundo is just a absolute great champion if you are looking to climb in the current meta, barring a few things, but we will go over those later. If you have your own tips or if you have any questions, I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. You guys help me make my videos better by giving me your input. So anything you'd like to see in the future, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Maybe even the next champion you want to see, I will see what kind of response I get there. So yeah, let's get into the video and get into tip number 1. Alright guys, let's jump into tip number 1. I want to talk about Mundo's kit just kind of holistically and what you should look to pick Mundo into, and just a couple small things that I really want you guys to keep in mind when you are first approaching Mundo. And that is, number 1, he is a huge anti-mage, anti-AP heavy team buster. What I mean by that is, with his ease passive, Dr. Mundo suffers magic damage or pays a health cost. His magic resistance is increased by 3% for 2 seconds up to a maximum of 42%. So when you get these percentage increases, if you already have a heavy magic resist build, it is going to increase it even further. So as you can see right here, 72% magic reduction with kind of a magic resist heavy build. And then when you pay a health tax from your W, you can see as the magic resist is just getting to very high levels, almost at 80%. So picking Mundo into very AP heavy builds is just going to be a great pick, because your team is going to need a front line, because you're usually playing Mundo in the top or the jungle, and then just being if you're playing team fights in a front to back manner, usually the enemy or the team that kills the enemy's front line first is going to be the victor. So second up, when you're looking to play Mundo, obviously he has a lot of HP scaling. So he has it with his E, increasing his damage, and then overall he gets 100% of his max HP back when he uses his ultimate. So having a very high HP build is going to be extremely good. And then you can also augment that if you want to have something like a gargoyle stone plate that increases your health. You can go even further, as you can see here, 4,000 health regen, but if you have your gargoyle stone plate up, it is going to go up to 8,000 healing, and this 8,000 heal is still going to be running even though your gargoyle has been used. So gargoyle stone plate, you have to think of it as just adding a huge new ability to your kit that is going to allow you to tank a lot more. So also with the passive, you get HP back just based on your percentage HP. So I want you guys to really look for 2 things when you are looking to play Mundo. First, very heavy AP mage team is going to be a great pick for Mundo. Second, if you are just really in a good spot to build a lot of percentage max HP with things like overgrowth, and then you can go second wind to get more percentage HP back. And so when you are doing builds like that, you do not want to go into champions that have a lot of HP shred, because when you go for very heavy HP builds, you're going to be lacking a bit in the resistance department when you are in the earlier levels. So things like Vayne, things like Fiora, things like Kaisa with extremely balanced across the board percentage HP is going to be pretty tough for Mundo. So you do not want to pick him into a pretty tough spot. Also, Mundo can kind of shrug off a lot of CC based off of his W when it is up there, reduced by 30%. So keep these 3 things in mind when you are looking to pick Mundo. And again, if you guys have any questions about kind of these just general tips at the start of when to pick Mundo, you can hit me up in the comments down below. Now we'll wrap up tip number 1. Alright guys, and let's get into tip number 2. When you are playing Mundo, and this goes for top and jungle, he has extremely strong objective control on PvE due to his insane amount of damage he gets to the cleaver that he does on just kind of these things. You can clear out these scuttle crabs just extremely quickly with your cleaver. And then this also applies, say if you want to invade the enemy jungler, Mundo is going to be a decent invader when he knows where it is and can kind of control the situation. He's a decent duelist in the early game and has a lot of just ability to take objectives extremely quickly. So always look to take advantage of your percentage HP that you have against monsters. I know it can be a little bit weird being like, oh, this tank is going to take forever to kill things, but just having that percentage, I mean, I'm not even going to hit the eye. Obviously, I'm a higher level than this, but you get the idea of how much damage your cleaver can really do when you are just spamming it out and just looking for that really strong objective control. So look to take this in full effect. If you're playing Mundo in the top lane, what you want to do is just push your enemy laner, if you are able to, into the jungle or into their tower and force them to just be farming, and then this is going to allow you to take objectives over here and over here. It's called lane priority. I made a video on it if you're curious about that. It's kind of, I think it's like 3 or 4 videos back. And then obviously running something like a teleport for big dragon objectives is going to be rather important too. So wrapping up tip number 2, always look to control neutral objectives through your infected cleaver. If you're winning your lane, you want to spread it around the map by invading the enemy jungler, because Mundo he's an okay tower taker with his E, but he's going to be able to just eat up a lot of enemy resources with his infected cleaver when you are going and just invading the enemy jungler. And that will wrap up tip number 2. Alright guys, and let's get into tip number 3 with Mundo. I want to talk a little bit about his Q and the importance of kiting, whether you're trying to chase people down or you are trying to run away with your Q movement slows. As you can see, when you throw out the Q, there is a bar right there that says infected cleaver. This means that this is the cast time where you are unable to move, and it roots you in place when you are doing your cast. How you want to take advantage of this dead time is to input a movement command. I want to show you 2 differences, or one difference that is going to make or break a rather poorly played Mundo and a rather well played Mundo. The first one would be the poorly played Mundo. He would be throwing his Q and then moving, throwing his Q and then moving at you, throwing his Q and then moving. How you want to look to just really maximize your movement when you are playing Mundo is you want to input movement commands when you are throwing your cleaver, and you are going to find that you are able to chase people down a lot easier, and you're moving around a lot better, and you're just able to control the zone in front of you a lot better. Just so you can just run in a practice tool real quick and just make sure that you're inputting your movement when you have your cast bar down at the bottom. This is just going to be great in overall just everything you do with Mundo. You want to be maximizing your movement because you do not have a blink ability, you do not have a mobility ability, so you really need to be running around as much as possible like the cat and dog are right now right next to me. If you have any questions about this, you can hit me up in the comments down below. Alright, getting into tip number 4, I want to talk a little bit about the different usages you can have with your ultimate. First up, he gets a rather large movement speed bonus when he gets his ultimate up. So if you're under very little threat, you're dominating the enemy laner, and you just really want to look to chase them down, using your ultimate just to chase people down and get a kill on them can be a very effective way to use your ultimate. I'm sorry guys, the cat and dog just love playing and chasing each other around the house all the time. Okay, the second way to look to use your ultimate is to bait people into very poor positions. As you can, the old saying with Mundo is Mundo goes where he pleases, because his ultimate is so extremely strong. So being at a low HP percentage threshold but then popping your ultimate can lead to some very good baits that Mundo can provide if you're running to your team, and say your team, there's a bunch of allied team members here, getting a bunch of enemies to get into a corridor. So your allies have a very condensed field of fire that they're able to throw their skill shots into, can be an extremely effective way to use your ultimate. You just have to be extremely careful when you're using your ultimate, as it is current percentage health. You're going to take the most damage from your ultimate when you are at full HP. So just keep that in mind when you are looking to play. You can't even get it out because of this regen is just absolutely insane. But when you are looking to use your ultimate, always keep in mind that it's percentage current health. So if you're dueling someone, usually you want to pop it when you're a little bit lower, just so you take overall less damage from your ultimate. So those are kind of the 3 different ways you can look to use Dr. Mundo's main ability in his ultimate, his kind of iconic thing. The whole kit is just built around this huge healing buff that he gets and his ability to be a great frontliner. So make sure to use all of the different ways with it to use his ultimate effectively. And that will wrap up tip number 4 with Mundo. Alright guys, and I want to talk about optimal team fighting for the final tip. Now, this is usually where I go over, admittedly, you should probably be looking to flank with a lot of the champions I've given tips on, just because there's a lot of bruisers, a lot of fighters. But with Dr. Mundo, a lot of the times you want to be looking for front-to-back team fights, which this means is that you want to be in front of your carries and protecting them as much as possible and dealing damage to the enemy tanks without overextending into their backline. The reasoning behind this is, again, because of your tank shred with infected cleaver. It does 30% of the current target's total health with 1 Q, and it's a 2.8-second cooldown with 30% CDR. So you are going to have a lot of tank shred when you are fighting front to back. So when you are looking for this type of play style, you want to be as absolutely tanky as possible so you win out in the front to back. And how you do this, again, I think Gargoyle's Stoneplate is a must buy on Mundo, because it can effectively double the amount of healing for your ultimate that a lot of people are like, oh, just buy Executioner's Calling and we'll be completely fine against Mundo. But what they don't understand is, even if with the 50% reduction, you're still going to get the full 4,246 percentage health, as you can see here, because you're going to pop your Stoneplate. You get the 8,000 healing, you use your ultimate, and that 8,000 is going to be running throughout the whole time. And even if you have the healing reduction, you're still going to heal an entire health bar. And if they don't have the healing debuff on you for the entire time, you're going to be healing for even more. So looking for these front to back team fights is going to be extremely important. Now, it's a dangerous game when you are looking for these kind of fights, because a lot of the times in low elo, people are overextending in team fights. I want you to imagine a tether between, say you have a really strong Azir and a Kaisa. So what you want to do is, you do not want to waste your health bar. You want to use your health bar and take damage for your team when your allies are in range of doing damage. This is going to be a great way to just understand your overall strength. You have to think of yourself as a stronger being when you are around allied champions, because they are going to be able to support you. So just kind of visualize, this is what I do in my mind. I used to play StarCraft back in the day, and I think of my allies as pylons, and they give extra power to me when I am around them. And this is particularly true when you are playing Mundo, because you are effectively a large HP bar that people have to break through before they can get to your allies' back line. So this is how you want to look to play out team fights. Obviously, you want to peel divers with your infected cleaver as much as possible. Say if they have a Fizz or a Kled or a Zed, you always want to look to be throwing those slows out for your team on those divers, because you really want to protect your backline as much as possible. That will wrap up my final tip for Dr. Mundo. If you guys have any questions about like builds and stuff, I can help you out with that kind of simple stuff, as well as you can check out pro builds, as there's going to be a lot of useful information there as well. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe. And as always, guys, take it easy.